Hello students, welcome to Daily Newspaper Analysis by Abhiram IAS Academy. So, the most important topics from the Hindu, Indian Express, PIB నుంచి ఐడెంటిఫై చేసి ఏవైతే ఎగ్జామ్ కి యూస్ఫుల్ గా ఉంటాయో దట్ ఈస్ ఫర్ యూపీఎస్సీ, టీజీపీఎస్సీ, ఏపీపీఎస్సీ అండ్ అంతేకాకుండా డిఫరెంట్ కైండ్స్ ఆఫ్ కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్స్ కి ఏ టాపిక్స్ అయితే హెల్ప్ఫుల్ అవుతాయో ఇన్ డీటెయిల్ గా వాటి గురించి నేర్చుకోవడం జరుగుతుంది అన్నట్టు. సో వితౌట్ ఎనీ డిలే లెట్స్ గెట్ స్టార్టెడ్. సో హియర్ ఐఎమ్ యూజింగ్ ద హిందూ Delhi editorial. Meeru okavela if you belongs to Telangana, Hyderabad edition, if you belongs to AP, if you're using Vijayawada edition, page numbers lo slight variation untundi chudandi. So the most important article first page lo ivvadam jarigindi, that is regarding the 3 killed in debris slip at tunnel site in Wayanad. So basic ga Wayanad lo 3 members chanipoyaru deni valla ante debris slip valla. Now what is this debris slip? Basically, this debris slip comes under your mudslides, and your mudslides are specific type of your landslides. So basically, akkada landslide jarigindi. Actually, it is mudslide, kani mudslide anedi landslide lo oka specific sliding part annattu. If mud is sliding down, then we are calling it as mudslide. Kani mudslide gani debris flow gani, these are part of your landslides. So manaki exam lo ekkada vastundi ante geophysical phenomena in your GS paper 1 and also in your GS paper 3 it comes under disaster management. Is that clear? So manam landslides gurinchi nechukundam. What are landslides? How many types of landslides will be there based on based on what it is categorized anedi chudamu. Now, why this is a news? This is a news because a massive mudslide occurred at the entrance of an under construction tunnel. Remember this, the tunnel was in construction or under construction and this led to the mudslide. బేసిక్ ఏం చేశారు, అక్కడ ఉన్న మడ్ అంతా తవ్వేసి ఒక పక్కన పెట్టేశారు అన్నట్టు. దాని వల్ల హెవీ రెయిన్స్, ఒక సైడ్ నుంచి హెవీ రెయిన్, ఇంకో సైడ్ ఆ మడ్ అంతా తవ్వేసి అక్కడ పెట్టడం జరిగింది అన్నట్టు. వాట్ డిడ్ ద నేచర్ డూ? వెన్ యూఆర్ ట్రైయింగ్ టు డిస్ట్రక్ట్ ది నేచర్ హ్యాస్ డిస్ట్రక్టెడ్ యూ. సో దేర్ కాజ్ ది మడ్స్లైడ్. Okay, what causing mudslide? That is heavy rainfall weaken the stability of a large heap of excavated mud. Clear? Now let's understand what are landslides, on what basis the landslides are being categorized. So what is a landslide? A landslide is a sudden rapid movement of a mass of rock, soil or debris, okay, in a sliding position. That is your landslide. Rapid and mass movement of rocks, debris and soil coming downwards, that is your landslide. And ante kakunda, not only by the nature but also if you are doing drilling gani, mining gani, construction gani, then also it is leading to your landslides. And if earthquakes gani, volcanoes gani, tsunamis gani, flash floods gani, cloud bursts gani ochina sari, it is triggering the landslides. Clear? See, your landslides are categorized into 3 types. One is based on the material involved, that is if mud is involving we call mudslide, if rock is involving we call rock slides. Okay, if soil is involving, soil slide. And based on the movement of the material, how the material is moving, based on that the second criteria, and the third one is how the material is flowing, that is the third criteria. So landslides are 3 types categorized into 3 types. One is based on the material. If the rock is sliding down, then you call it as rock slide. If debris, the small particles of the rocks are coming down, that you call debris, and soil itself is sliding down, that you call as soil slide, and if the mud is sliding down, you call it as a mudslide. And the second thing is based on the movement of the material. It's the same. Consider this is a mountain. If the soil is it is coming down, it is falling directly, then we call it as fall. If this is rotating slowly and falling down, you call it as topple. If this is sliding down, that is the sliding moment, you call it as a slide. If it is like rotational, if it is rotating and sliding down, we call it as a rotational slide. And lastly, transitional slide, it is coming down like this. The part is coming down all of a sudden, that is you call as transitional slide. Next, based upon the flow of the material, like how it is flowing. If it is moving fast, that is debris flow. If it is moving like a very slow, that we call it as earth flow. And it is like creeping, that we call it as creep flow. And also mud flow. Like mud, debris and earth flows very like quickly. These are the types of landslides. Now, what are the factors causing the landslides? Human factors and also natural factors. Natural factors like here, rainfall, earthquake, and also tsunamis. Like any geophysical phenomena is affecting your landslides. And apart from that, yes, snow melt kani, geological and topographical factors like your Yangfall Mountains. See, Yangfall Mountains are very much fragile. They're very sensitive. If anything you disturbs, immediately the destruction happens. If anything you disturbs, the destruction happens very immediately. Clear? And the most important here is anthropogenic factors or human factors. What are they? One is your drilling, or one is your construction or excavating or cutting the hill. The most important thing is deforestation, removing of the trees, unplanned urbanization, that is construction of roads, gani, hotels, gani, buildings, gani, in middle of your unstable hills, mining gani, blasting gani, drilling gani jariginappudu, or overgrazing by livestock. When you send the livestock to the mountain or hills regions, they do eat the trees or plants present over there. What is happening? Soil is losing up, then causing to the destructions, and also poor drainage and water leak. These are the factors. So what are the impacts of landslides? Human loss, buildings loss, everything is lost. Psychological impact, environmental degradation, infrastructure damage, disaster relief and rehabilitation, economic loss and loss of life and property. What is the impact? Everything is lost. Your homes will be lost, your life will be lost, you will go into trauma. You have to construct your home again. And loss to the government. Now, why can't government take proper measures before itself? Always prevention is better than cure. Where is it prevention? What we have to do? That is what UPSC asks you. What are the measures you suggest? What is the way forward you give? What is the way forward? See, according to NDMA, that is the National Disaster Management Authority, it gives some disaster management responsibility things. What it says that please be careful. Have the data where mining is happening or where the landslides are occurring frequently. Have the data with you. You can give the precautionary notice to the people. Hazard zonation, before the event is occurring there, please be careful and please note where the hazard is happening. Note down that. Make the zones where the cloudburst will happen, where the landslides will happen. In Jammu and Kashmir, now cloudburst is occurring. Due to that, some around 13 people have been died. Here in Wayanad, 3 people have been died due to your landslides. And also make some pilot project, that is regional studies, where the impact will be there. What is the core area where the area disturbs? And also give early warning to the people. Establish some research centers at those places. And also code revision, like give new codes. Like earthquakes, we have zones, we have categorized into zones. Zone 5, Zone 4, Zone 1, like that, make some code revisions. And also make people aware. Okay. This is the NDMA guidelines. And now what is the way forward you give? Please make people aware. One is awareness, community-based disaster risk reduction, that is like discuss with your communities. Please do plant the trees. And also infrastructure resilience, ensure that the slope is properly stable or not. Comprehensive land use, please, like use the land infrastructure properly, and also strengthen early warning systems. Use like drones use cheyadam aina sare, satellites use cheyadam aina sare, ala use cheyadam valla you can stop the destruction. Clear? This is about the landslides, and this PDF is already provided in your Telegram channel also. So what we are doing is that, see, basically mains ki ela help avutundo alanti format lone create chesi we are making this PDF, and this has been posted in Telegram already. Please go to Telegram and download this. Okay, and make like keep in your folders, keep in your laptops, or store somewhere else, because it is very useful for the examination. Now, moving to the second article. The second article is India's economic prospects after a West Asia crisis. Now, what is the thing? What happened exactly? See, United States and Iran have been agreed a 14-point formula. The negotiations have been done between those two people, that is your Iran and US. So, a 14-point preliminary MOU have been signed between the two countries. But somewhere, you know, the West Asia crisis have impacted India hugely. That is with respect to LPG shortages. The Strait of Hormuz was closed. Inflation rise in India due to this. Now, what is the article telling is that, see, before, that is, here you can see, National Statistics Office has been said that in the year 2025-26, that is post-COVID, India's growth efficiency, that is GDP growth, estimate was around 7.7%. But today, that growth prospect is being come down. Okay, he is saying that the growth prospect is coming down. Why? In 2026, the growth prospects are likely to be impacted because of disruptions in crude oil and also higher prices affecting the first quarter. Basically, after post-COVID, that is in year 2025 and 2026 for the year, National Statistics Survey has been projected a growth of 7.7%. But now, the NSO is telling that the growth may be slightly decreased. Why? The huge disruption in the crude oil things. Clear? Not only that, and the effect of El Nino also. The effect of El Nino also. And also, not only this crude oil, but also due to the fertilizers issue. Due to the fertilizers issue. All in all, let's see what is the thing. What is the growth prospect saying? Let's see why it is in news. The United States and Iran have been agreed a 14-point preliminary memorandum of understanding aimed to reduce the tensions in West Asia and reopening of Strait of Hormuz. So, the West Asia conflict has disrupted the global crude oil supplies, pushing international prices sharply higher. Okay, that is the thing, and also making the inflation go up. And since as India exports 90% of its crude oil, as 90% of crude oil is imported, the inflation, fiscal position, current account balance and energy security, everything has been increased and your energy security has been fallen down. Not only that, the article is highlighting the 2026-2027 growth prospects. It has been said that the NSO has been said that there was 7.7% of growth for the estimation growth for 2025 and 2026 year. But now, like it is telling there has been decreased. Because why it has been decreased? Let's see. Why it has been decreased is due to your crude oil disruptions and higher prices and deficiency in rainfall due to El Nino, and also the major thing is your fertilizer shortage also. So, NSO is telling the growth prospects are likely to be impacted due to external and also your domestic factors. Now, this is one thing. Now, the thing is how this is impacting the agriculture. Fertilizers are not there, man. Monsoon is not there. What will happen? The production will be decreased. The production will be decreased, and it will also show very much impact on kharif crops and also upcoming rabi crops too. And The thing is that, so the fiscal prospects for the year 2026. So the real GDP has been come down to 6.6%, and the implied price deflator, that is your inflation, has come to 5.4%. Here the estimation of nominal GDP growth has come to 6.6%. Okay, and also your WPI and CPI is also showing like WPI inflation has been increased to 6% and CPI inflation has been increased to 4.5. The overall inflation rate, if you see, it has been increased to 5.4%. See, 5.4% of inflation has been increased. And also, now, as the fertilizers are low, government is trying to give the fertilizer subsidies for subsidies and also fuel-related support. And one more thing what he's saying is that though these issues are there, but the GST revenues are good. There were increased GST collections and also improved income taxes and corporate revenues also. Due to this, there will be some kind of stability he's mentioning. And also, the another good news is RBI has been transferred these funds to the government. RBI has been transferred the funds to the government. This is like giving extra bonus to the government. Giving extra bonus. Almost 2.69 crore lakh rupees have been transferred to the government. Sorry, 2.69 lakh crores. Clear? So that it can spend like a bonus. This is the growth prospect of 2026 and 2027 of India. Now, what has been done in the revolution of India's petroleum economy? You know, India imports most of its petrol. So, what happened? Rising dependency on imported crude oil from 1998 to 1999, almost it was 54.9%. Now, almost greater than 90 we are being imported. Next, decline in domestic crude oil production, completely declining. See, 35.9 to 26. And also, increasing demand for petroleum products have been increased. Number of motorcycles usage, fuel consumption have been increased, and also surge in domestic production also. Many LPG cylinders have been consumed, and also improved refinery capacity over time. Yes, this is the good news, where we are improving our refineries. But there is an decrease in your energy efficiency also. No, actually this is a thing. It has been increased. There is an improvement in energy efficiency because now we are able to make the energy from the non-renewable resources. Sorry, from your renewable resources. You are able to make the energy from your renewable resources. We are using, India is going for solar production, India is also going for wind, also for your nuclear. This is a good news to India. These two things, improve refinery capacity and also improvement in your energy efficiency also. This is what the paper has been highlighted. Now, see, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to visit Australia next week. So that is why this article has been given. Article ఏం చెప్తుంది అంటే ఇండియా అండ్ ఆస్ట్రేలియా రిలేషన్స్ గురించి మెన్షన్ చేస్తూ ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది అన్నట్టు. దిస్ ఇస్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ అగైన్ ఫర్ యువర్ ఎగ్జామ్. GS2 లో ఇంటర్నేషనల్ రిలేషన్స్ లో ఇండియా ఆస్ట్రేలియా సంబంధాలు అడిగినప్పుడు ఈ క్వశ్చన్ ని like what are the points have been mentioned, you can give here. You can write in the exam. So what it is telling is that basically there were before 3 C's. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been went to Australia in 2020, he has been highlighted these 3 C's. One is Commonwealth, one is cricket, and one is curries. The common curries we share, the Q sign. Then what happened? There were 3 Ds which have been expanded in the later on years. One is your democracy, diaspora, and dosti have been increased. That is, a friendship has been increased. Now what is emerging? 2 Ds are emerging. One is development and also defense. And also now comes the E's also. C's is done, D's is done, now E's. 2 E's. One is education and one is energy. From 3 C's, that is Commonwealth, cricket, curries, to 3 D's, that is democracy, diaspora, dosti, and emerging 2 D's, that is your defense and development, to the 2 E's. that is your energy and education. India and Australia relations have been come like this. And the Prime Minister Narendra Modi also mentioned that the India-Australia friendship zone is in T20 mode. Not with respect to cricket, but the mode that is fast-paced, dynamic, multidimensional and future-ready partnership. Now, let's see about India-Australia relations. See, basically, I have been mentioned what are the benefits for India and what are benefits for Australia. Let's see that once. Expanding trade and investment, so that what are the benefits for India is getting duty-free access for exports such as textiles, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, engineering goods and also gems and jewelry. What Australia is getting in return, Australia is getting preferential access for exports of critical minerals, natural resources and also the labor, wool, avocados and also some different kinds of nuts. And India has been increasing its bilateral trade. So in 2025, our bilateral trade has been increased to $33 billion, and by the year 2030, we want to make it for $100 billion, sorry. And also bilateral investment has been increased, and also Australia is planning for its Perdaman chemical and fertilizers is investing almost $4.5 billion in India. And also defense sector is increasing. See, this all I mentioned in the PDF. This PDF will be linked down. Please have a look. Because if I read, it will be like just normal reading. But the thing is that India and Australia is giving its development in military exercises and also maritime and also in defense. As we have been seen emerging, defense is emerging, development is increasing, shipbuilding is cooperating, like Australia is cooperating for shipbuilding, knowledge transfer. This is important. What Australia and India is doing, it is trying to build the strong foundation of bilateral ties and also expanding cooperation, that is trilateral, multilateral, that is how India, Indonesia, Australia connectivity, Indo-France, Australia and Australia-Canada, in India technology and innovation partnership, India, Japan, Australia supply chain resilience initiative and also potential India-UAE triad. And also, this is also being shared by the platforms like Quad. India and Australia are members of Quad and also Indian Ocean Rim Association. Two things. Not only that, India is going for partnership with respect to education, health, technology, fintech, that is financial technology, capacity building, disaster resilience at their Pacific Island countries. And also the most important thing is cricket. So as Prime Minister Narendra Modi has compared with T20 mode, that is faster, divergent and also future partnership. This is a thing. And next article I found important is linking women's income and healthcare. Where do you relate this in your syllabus is that issues relating to development and management of social sector services relating to health, education and human resources and also women related topic is very much important for your exam. That is with regards to UPSC. Now what is the article saying? Article is telling that women is getting employed more. Like how it is supporting, what is the evidence? Economic revolution is happening in India because there is rising female labor force participation is there. But at the same time, we are able to see epidemiological revolution. That is, many of the women are going for non-communicable diseases are increasing, such as diabetes, hypertension and cardiovascular diseases, obesity and mental health disorders are increasing in women. Okay, one is, yes, women are going in a good way. That is, employment is increasing. How? Raising female labor force participation. This is there. But at the same time, women are facing with epidemiological revolution. That is, non-communicable diseases are also increasing, like your obesity, like your mental stress, BP. These are also increasing. What to do? So first, India's changing health scenario. Concentrate on this. How you'll concentrate? Give women more hospitals? No, not enough more hospitals. More nutrition is needed. The need is nutrition, not more doctors. Understanding women. A balanced lifestyle is important. Preventive healthcare is important. As such, what happened is, government has been done an experiment in 2018. They have been decreased the EPF, that is Employment Provident Fund, to 12% to 88%, reduced from 12% to 8%. Now, what happened? Women have been taken more salary to their homes, such that they're having more money. They can concentrate on their nutrition, they can concentrate on their wellness, they can concentrate on their children. The mental stress was good. So the key finding of the study was decline in healthcare expenditure. Why? Because nutritional supply is there. And increase in preventive health investments. That is why this has been declined. They were able to take proper nutrition, physical fitness was there, healthier lifestyles was there, and also evidence from medical records. One of the largest eye hospital network showed that when women are receiving the more income, they are spending less on healthcare even after accounting for access to medical care. Why? Because they are taking this preventive health investment. And now the article is telling why a woman's income is most important, because they can take care on children's education, they can take on nutrition, they will be taking more care on their health and also family well-being. That is why women's income matters. What to do? What we should do? Strengthen the demographic dividend, that is greater workforce for both men and women, make it equal. Employment policy as health policy, improve the family health. Also target on encouraging preventive healthcare measures and also reducing pressure on healthcare systems, that is reduce the disease burden by taking the preventive measures. And also promoting preventive healthcare, the same thing, yes. So, look at this PDF once, it is very good. You will understand many things from this. And the last important article is about the rule of law. Basically, this independence of bar is crucial for preservation of rule of law. It is said by the Supreme Court. Now, what is Supreme Court telling is that the Supreme Court of India has reaffirmed that the independence of bar is as essential as the independence of judiciary for preserving the rule of law and constitutional democracy. Rule of law ante enti? This is very important. What is rule of law? Simple. No one is above the law. That is supremacy of the law. Everyone should be held by the law itself. Even the government, that is executive, even the legislative, no one is above the law. That is the Constitution of India is supreme. And who protects that Constitution? That is Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court is telling that rule of law is very important. What is this rule of law? It is a fundamental principle of constitutional democracy, which is stating that law is supreme. Law is supreme. So, according to A.V. Dicey, theory of rule of law, what he tells is supremacy of the law. No person can be punished on crisis of or on deprived of their life, liberty, property except according to the law. No one is punished. No one is punished with, no person can be punished or deprived of life, liberty or property except according to the rule of law. If it is there in the law, what is the procedure? Follow that. That's it. And government actions must be based on legal authority and not on arbitrary decisions. That is, you should know government should take the things which are not in law. They should not perform what are not there in the law. They have to perform the activities and things what are there in the law itself. They have to stick bound by the law. That is supremacy of the law and equality before the law. Every person is equal before the law. There is no indifferences in between the law. And predominance of the legal spirit. What is that? Individual rights are protected by independent judiciary. Independent judiciary, integrated judiciary is there in your basic structure. What is rule of law? What is rule of law? Law is supreme. Law is supreme. Okay. So, Avidicet tells supremacy of law, equality before law, predominance of legal spirit is very important for protecting the constitution. For protecting the constitution. This is very important. Now, is this rule of law is mentioned anywhere? No, rule of law is not mentioned anywhere, but the supporting articles are present in the constitution. What are the supporting articles? Article 13, Article 32, Article 136, Article 142 and finally here Article 226. Now what do they tell? Article 13 tells that laws inconsistent with fundamental rights are void. If something is preventing your fundamental right or if a government is making laws which are disturbing the fundamental rights, they are void, they're null and void. Okay, you should not disturb your fundamental rights. According to Article 32, right to constitutional remedies, you can approach the Supreme Court directly when your fundamental rights are being disturbed. And also, from Article 33, there involved a concept called judicial review. That is, judiciary can review the things. If anything is going like beyond the constitution or unconstitutional things are happening. Article 136 speaks about special leave petition, special leave. That is, you can go to Supreme Court on regards of like to appeal against any judgment, decree or order passed by any court or tribunal. You can directly go to your Supreme Court. That is a special leave. Next is Article 142, which is telling complete justice. For complete justice, you can approach the Supreme Court. No one is above the law. Everyone should be bound to the law. That is rule of law. Article 226 is telling high courts can issue writs for enforcement of fundamental rights and for any other legal right. Even high courts are having the writ petition, writ jurisdiction. These are all supporting the rule of law. That is, no one is above the law. Clear? And where do you see this? The Constitution is telling that Article 21 is supporting, Article 14 is also supporting, Article 13, 32, 136, 142, 226, they're supporting the judicial review. Preamble is supporting the rule of law. Principles such as justice, equality, liberty, these are all the supporting statements. Article 21 says that the right of life and personal liberty cannot be curtailed except procedure established by the law. If the procedure is established in the law, then itself we can be curtailed. Until and unless you cannot be curtailed. That is your Article 21. Rule of law simply means supremacy of the law. No one is above the law. Is that clear? This is very important topic because many a times questions have been asked with regards to your rule of law. Clear? Preliminary ki chala important. Means kuda konsalu adige avakasham untundi. So, these are the most important articles which have been found in the Hindu paper today. Please have a look, and this PDF is shared in the Telegram channel also. Do read it regularly. You will improve definitely in your current affairs and you can answer many questions from them. Okay, which helps you in fetching more marks in the examination. And evaithe articles means point of view lo explain cheyalo alani ivvadam jarigindi, alani explain cheyadam jarigindi, and which are to be explained in preliminary point of view, we have been explained in the same manner. Do follow our YouTube channel regularly. Thank you.